Report Net Clothing. First up, the Do-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats. Meticulously crafted for the yoga studio, the gym, and beyond, blending style, comfort, and the heart of a champion. Wear your passion, embody sustainability, and elevate your practice. Join the league of athletes who wear their values as proudly as their belts. It's more than clothing, it's a way of life. Ringside Report Network, where champions dress for success, sustainability, and the spirit of the sport.
Attention to all professional wrestling fans and followers of the legendary Johnny Genesis North. We are releasing a must-have collection of Johnny North merchandise in our store at merch.ringsidereport.net, starting with our limited edition Johnny Genesis North 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. With a unique design capturing Johnny in action, this tee exudes raw energy and intensity through its versatile 3/4 sleeves for any weather. Stand with our legendary co-host, Johnny North. Make a bold statement in the wrestling community by getting yours today, exclusively at merch.ringsidereport.net.
Get ready to amp up your betting game with Ringside Report Network's latest knockout offer. We've teamed up with our pals at Bet99.com to bring you something that will shake up the betting world. Dave's Picks with boosted odds. Here's the lowdown. Normally you see odds like -200 over at Bet99, right? Picture this. We hit up our buddies at Bet99 and worked out some magic. Suddenly those odds? They're looking a whole lot sweeter at -150. That's right, and we're all about getting you those exclusive, juiced up odds, only for the Ringside Report universe. So here's the game plan. We dish out the picks, and you keep those eyes peeled. You might see a number on Bet99, but hold up. Wait until Saturday morning rolls around. Thanks to those boosted odds we've snagged for you, those numbers will look much better. I'm all for Bet99 doing great, but let's not kid ourselves. We want to win big too. It's all in good fun, and hey, it's part of the thrill of the game. They're in on it, and we're in on it. It's all about having a blast while pocketing some extra cash. Ready to take advantage of those boosted odds? Go to the special Ringside Report Bet99 link on your screen. We're all about seeing how much we can boost the odds for you, our loyal viewers. And a huge thank you to Bet99 for their support of the Ringside Report Network.
Ooh, Yes, indeed. It's Wrestling Uncensored, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring season. Logan Paul going up against Cody Rhodes, and a whole lot going on in All Elite Wrestling. Let's get right into it. Yes, indeed. Those are not steamed hams. That is Aurora Borealis. Hello, everyone. It's Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave. Here is my brother.
Hello.
He is the uncle. And there is Big Johnny North in the house as well.
Hi.
And yes, you can go outside right now if you're in Montreal and look up at the sky and see the northern lights.
Yeah.
Aurora Borealis. We just saw that during the countdown. I kind of wish I was still outside looking at it. It was kind of magical out there
This time of day.
in the night sky. Yeah, somebody's got to explain to me what that is and what's going on. It's like a solar
reflection.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm a wrestling expert. I'm a wrestling expert.
Yeah.
I'm not a,
I can explain the Simpsons reference.
But I definitely know when I see something in the sky that I don't normally see. And I looked up and I said, what is going on there?
Yeah.
And then, of course, she was really excited.
So much brighter in the north.
It's brighter in the. What do you mean in the north? It's brighter in the north?
It's moving. It's so exciting.
What you're looking at now, right now, you're saying? It's moving? Oh, are we going to lose it? How long is it going to be up in the sky? All night? All right. What is it? What is it? What does it mean? What does it all mean? She's gone. What does it all mean? I don't know what it means. We can't tell you what it means. We're going to talk about Aurora Borealis. We got to talk about pro wrestling. What are you going to say?
Yeah.
It was cool, though, right?
It was pretty cool.
It was cool.
Never seen it before, I thought I'd have to venture somewhere up north or like Iceland or
Yes.
Winnipeg or something.
No, we're seeing something that we never see in the sky. It's been quite a couple of months for that, right? We had the total eclipse, and now we're seeing Aurora Borealis in our night sky. What is happening?
In our little corner of the world.
Yeah, it's cool. John, interested?
Well, I just want to say happy Walking Day.
Oh, it's Whacking Day.
Oh, yeah, it is Walking Day. So
different Simpsons
maybe
reference.
It's a good tie-in, is it not?
Yes. Is it actually Whacking Day?
I didn't know there was an actual designated day.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
I don't know if it's a real thing, but in The Simpsons it was May 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Okay. Too bad Barry White is not around to serenade us.
Okay. John, King of the Ring Day, Queen of the Ring Day, is May 25th. That's the next big event on our calendar. We just had Backlash. We also have AEW Double or Nothing, which is on the 26th, by the way. It's the next day. WWE and AEW hitting us with a double shot on that weekend, the 25th and 26th. 25th, WWE is going to be in Saudi Arabia in the afternoon. And then, of course, at night, AEW Double or Nothing in Las Vegas on a Sunday night. And we got a good idea of what the main event, or at least one of the main events, will be for Double or Nothing coming up at the end of the month. We found out that it'll be the Elite, Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, and the Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, taking on the FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Eddie Kingston in an Anarchy in the Arena match. So that's a big match, and we'll break everything down in AEW world a little bit later on. We also know, of course, Christian Cage will be going up against Swerve Strickland for that AEW World Championship. I wonder what will close the show. Will it be Anarchy in the Arena? Will it be that world title match? Yeah. Interesting. But I want to talk about King of the Ring. We got some news tonight. Speaking of world title challengers, Cody Rhodes will be defending the WWE Championship at King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring. I don't know what to call this thing. I keep calling it King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring, because back in the day, it was a pay-per-view, King of the Ring. It was like a thing that happened almost every year, and it was a thing. And then they added Queen of the Ring, and I think that's great. And I'm down with the program. It's just it doesn't roll off the tongue that well. King and Queen of the Ring. It's just,
Yeah, because usually king or queen comes after. Like you're not the king of the prom, you're the prom king. So it's like it just sounds weird rolling off the tongue.
Yeah.
The king of the ring and king and queen of
if
the
it was
ring,
just called Queen of the Ring, it'd
Yeah.
be fine. If it was called King of the Ring, it'd be fine. But King and Queen of the Ring, it's
I like
too
ring
wordy.
king. Ring king.
It's too wordy. Ring ka king.
That was Jeff Jarrett's thing.
I know. In India, it was a whole thing. But anyways, King and Queen of the Ring is happening in Jeddah at the end of the month, and Cody Rhodes will be defending the WWE Championship against Logan Paul, the United States Champion, and they seemed to say that it was going to be for the U.S. title as well. Cody's talking about
Yes.
being a double champ.
No.
Cody's saying, like, I want the U.S. title, but it seemed to be winner takes all. No, John? I mean, Matthew Henley is the Cody match winner takes all. I was confused as well by the promo. Are you telling me it's not?
Like they hinted that, I think Cody said that he was U.S. champion. He was Grand Slam champion. And, that's what happened in the past. So he's been a U.S. champion, but that's
Has
pretty
he?
much it.
Oh yeah, he was definitely a U.S. champion at some point. When he was dashing Cody.
That's a good
Rhodes,
question.
or when
That's
he
a
had
good
the
question.
mask.
No, I don't think. No,
I don't
no.
think he
Am
has
I
been,
am I
actually.
the only one who understood this promo here tonight? Cody said he hadn't won the U.S. title yet, and if he does take the U.S. title, it would make him a Grand Slam champion. Cody wanted the U.S. title. John, I think you missed.
Right.
How did you both miss it? What is happening? Am I the
Yeah,
only
but,
one who
like,
heard
it was
that?
never-
Cody was. He was Intercontinental Champion.
Oh,
he
IC
was
champion.
Tag Team Champion. He's now been WWE Champion, but he has not held the United States Championship in the WWE. And that's what he was saying tonight. Like, I haven't held this, and if I did this, I'd be Grand Slam Champion. So it felt like Cody wanted a U.S. title shot added to the stipulation of this match, but as far as I know, it's just for the WWE title, which is weird because the promo seemed to indicate U.S. title involvement in the match. I guess we're not doing that.
Yeah, Cody wants to be U.S. champion, but it doesn't mean he's going to get what he wants because the challenge is for Cody's title. That's what Aldous said. This is your next challenge. This wasn't Logan Paul's next title defense.
How come Logan doesn't have to defend his belt?
Because, he already defended his title, I guess, twice. That's a lot. I mean, he's only had 2 title defenses.
He didn't
So that's
defend at
factual.
Backlash. Cody did. It doesn't seem fair.
Well, because when did he defend the title the first time? Was that the Rumble, right? He didn't defend it at Elimination Chamber.
No. He
So
defended
has to
at
miss
Rumble
one.
and Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got to miss a couple months. So it's too soon.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So Logan Paul is going up against Cody. I thought Logan held his own in that promo. I thought the promo was solid from Logan and Cody to kick off SmackDown tonight. And it's an interesting match. We've seen Logan in a WWE title match before. We've seen Logan against Roman Reigns, and he came up on the losing end. Logan right now is the United States champion. And like you said, he's defended it twice, and he hasn't defended it against jabronis. He beat Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania to retain that U.S. title. So you would figure that him losing the U.S. title would be a big deal. But if Cody beats him before he drops the belt, it kind of takes a little bit of luster away from when Logan finally loses that United States Championship. So how do you get around Logan losing clean to Cody? How do you get around that? Do you get around that? Or do you just have Cody beat him, and then Logan, when he does drop the U.S. title, it's like, oh yeah, Logan loses again.
Yeah.
What do you do? It's a weird move from the WWE, and it makes me question a few things. It makes me wonder, hey, are they going maybe in the direction of Logan Paul being the next WWE champion? Is that a move that they could be thinking about? I think it
I
is.
don't know about that.
I think it's a possibility. And because I was thinking about this tonight, watching SmackDown. And if you think about the wrestling business, right?
The business. What's best for business?
It's a business. And what does that mean? Well, your top money earner, your top money draw is usually the guy that's going to be your world champion, right? Historically in pro wrestling. Am I wrong, John? You want your top money draw as your champion. Usually the guy that is making the most money for the company is the champion.
So Triple H was doing that?
Well, I think he would say he was.
I'm sure he says that, but was
I think he would say he was drawing the house, brother. You know, he was selling the tickets. He was moving merch. But
he was the guy everyone wanted to get beat up, I guess. You could say that.
Because a lot of times when you're at the top of the card, when you're in the main event, like, sure, a lot of people are buying tickets for you, but you get the credit for the house, whether it's, you know, whether it's based on you or just, hey, the roster is strong and you happen to be the guy booked on top, right? Sometimes, like in the Hulkamania era, Hulk Hogan was drawing the house. People were buying 90% of the audience in a sold-out building was there to see one man, and everybody else was getting paid handsomely, and they knew it because of Hulk Hogan. They knew it was all because of Big Terry. Now, nowadays in the WWE, I don't think the locker room looks at Cody and goes, hey, thanks for the house, brother.
Yeah.
Okay? He's not drawing the house. I mean, he's selling tickets, he's moving merch, but it's a communal effort. And when you buy tickets to a WWE show, you're buying tickets to a WWE show. And you trust that the WWE brand will bring you something. Whether it's Cody or Roman or The Rock or Brock Lesnar or whoever they have at any given time, you know they're going to give you something when you buy the ticket. They're going to give you something when you tune into the pay-per-view. Now, I think Cody is drawing money for the WWE. He's moving merch. He's selling tickets. He's a draw. He's a needle mover. He's a big star in pro wrestling. But I also watch a lot of these WWE shows, and every single one of them, I see those Prime bottles in the corner next to the ring. And on every premium live event in the middle of the ring, I see the Prime logo. And I know that Logan Paul, he's the guy that owns Prime, he runs Prime, and he's paying for all that. So when I think about who's drawing money as a WWE superstar, I think, well, Cody's probably selling tickets, but how much is Logan and friends paying for all that Prime advertising? Which is an unprecedented move for any current wrestler of the WWE to become a major sponsor while they're an active member of the roster, while they're a champion of the roster. It's never happened before. Never. So who's drawing money in the WWE? What's the return on the investment when WME Endeavor, when they start to look at, you know, on paper, okay, well, Cody Rhodes is getting paid this much, and he's bringing in this much. Logan Paul is getting paid this much. He's also a client of WME. He's an Endeavor client, so he's also represented by us, so he's bringing us revenue streams not only in wrestling, and he's bringing in a lot for that Prime sponsorship to WWE, but also that podcast and those appearances we got and this and that. All of a sudden, they start to look at the bottom line and they go, well, who's more valuable to us? And the WWE is not a wrestling company. The WWE is owned by a, goddamn, I forget the word.
They're a holding company?
Holding company. They're owned by a holding company. The majority owner of the TKO group is the Endeavor Group, WME Endeavor. They are a massive holding company, talent agency, and everything else.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul is one of their clients. So when they look at the bottom line, you got to rethink the way the WWE is, the way it's structured, and the way it works. Because it's a new day. Yes, it is. And you got to look at Logan Paul and think, whoa, okay, well, this guy is drawing a lot of money for the WWE. He's making this company a lot of money, and he's not just making money for the WWE, but he's making money for the UFC. He was a big sponsor there. He could potentially fight in the UFC and make a ton of money there. He could box under a UFC WWE banner and do a lot. Like, there are options for Logan Paul, and he's young, and he's also a massive star, and he's drawing an audience that Cody and Rock and a bunch of people are not drawing. He's drawing a much younger audience that is addicted to Prime.
Yeah.
Addicted. So, it sounds crazy to say, wow, have Logan beat Cody, but if you look at the money, if you look at the bottom line, it starts to make a lot of sense. And after having said that,
Yeah.
I still think Cody will beat him at the King of the Ring thing. But down the road, Logan Paul is champion. If he does stick around, Logan Paul is the face of WWE. Yeah. People think Cody Rhodes versus The Rock is the biggest match WWE could make at WrestleMania. Is it? Or is it Logan Paul and The Rock? Who are the bigger stars? Is Cody a bigger star? Mainstream star than Logan Paul? I think you'd have to be kind of crazy to say he is. He's a bigger wrestling star. In professional wrestling, more people are like focused on Cody and, But in the world, I come on. Right?
Yeah, I think Cody Rhodes is still kind of like relegated to the wrestling universe. He's not necessarily a cross brand kind of thing. Like, maybe he'll go on like a Jimmy Fallon or something to promote WrestleMania, but he's not, doing everyday stuff, Cody Rhodes. He's still kind of...
He's not a household name.
Yeah.
He's not The Rock, and he's not Logan Paul.
Or like a John Cena even,
Like,
who had more of that cross-brand appeal.
I like Cody. I think he's great. But you got to look at Logan Paul as a serious entity in the WWE. He's been doing it long enough. He's good enough at it. And he's a big enough money generator where you got to take him seriously. Both Paul brothers, you got to take those guys seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, there's no reason not to.
Mm-mm.
It's not like The Miz or something,
I mean, they're committed.
Yeah.
I mean, they're committed. They're good athletes, they're charismatic personalities, and they're committed to what they're doing. He's not half-assing pro wrestling.
Yeah, he's not treating it like a joke.
The guy has shown up more in the past year than Roman Reigns has. He has.
Yeah.
He has. There's been more Logan Paul than Roman Reigns. More appearances.
About equal recently.
Huh?
It's been about equal recently. I mean, they both have the same amount of title defenses as of late.
I don't know. I've seen Logan since WrestleMania. I haven't seen Roman in a while.
Okay. Because of this little incident that just happened. Pretty much it. And that little thing with Mahomes as well.
There's been a lot of, and he's bringing in guys like Mahomes.
Yeah, that's a big star.
You know?
It's like one of the biggest possible stars you can bring.
Yep. And it's by association with Logan Paul. And I'm telling you, John, the bosses at TKO Group, at Endeavor, are looking at that and going, oh, yeah, that's our guy. How could they not?
I mean, SummerSlam in Cleveland, if it doesn't happen by then.
SummerSlam in Cleveland. And who's the poster boy for that show? It's Logan Paul. It's not The Miz. Okay? It's Logan Paul headlining SummerSlam in his hometown, in a stadium. That'll sell out. And he'll sell tickets, too. And no matter how much the audience hates him, have you noticed that every show there's a bunch of kids that love him? Have you noticed that there's young wrestling fans there that he's their favorite guy? The whole crowd is like, boo, you suck. Guys like us are like, this guy. Mm-hmm. The kids, though, the teens, the kids, they love him. And they're next up. In 5 years, they're in their 20s. You know what I mean? Like, they're taking over. So, this is their guy. I'm not saying it's happening now, but, at some point, the WWE is going to look at him and go, yeah, okay, if he does stick around, if he is serious, he'll be WWE Champion. And he'll beat some guys where you'll go, I can't believe he just beat this guy.
Yeah.
And wrestling fans will be so pissed. The hardcore wrestling fans, guys Guys like us, old guys in their 40s and shit, will be like, man, what the hell is this, Logan Paul? And then the kids in their 20s and teens will be like, hell yeah, that's our guy. Screw you, old man.
Yeah, who cares about CM Punk?
John, it's coming, man. It's coming. Yeah, who cares about CM Punk? He's 50 years old. Logan Paul is the guy. Like, when Logan Paul beats CM Punk down, people, like the Logan Paul fans will be like, yeah, and the CM Punk fans will be like, I can't believe this is happening.
Wrestling is over.
But Logan will be like 30-something by then, and Punk will be in his 50s, and it'll make sense. Just like when Jake Paul beats up Mike Tyson, because Jake's in his 20s and Mike's almost 60. It makes sense.
That's still happening?
And the old guys, older than me, which is really old, by the way, if you're older than me, I mean, God bless. They won't believe it. They'll be like, Mike Tyson, I can't believe he lost.
Mike.
It's ridiculous. But like,
The baddest man.
guys, Father Time waits for no one. Undefeated. Logan
Have
Paul,
you seen that?
he's doing really well, John. He's good at it. His promos are
Right.
better than most guys in WWE.
The promo was fine tonight, but have you seen the ticket prices for SummerSlam? Like, I have a hard time believing that's going to sell out. The lowest selling ticket is like $200.
Okay?
You believe they're going to sell out that stadium? Really? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Did
I
you
mean,
see
they'll
tickets
break
for
more
WrestleMania?
records.
They did 2 nights and they sold it out. They're going to sell out.
I don't know if they sold out both
Well,
nights, but
They did pretty damn close, John. They
They
sold
did very
a
well.
lot of tickets.
of course. And I'm sure they'll sell a lot of tickets in Cleveland, but that's very expensive. It's amazing that WWE can do it. And they're going to need someone like Logan Paul to do it. It helps. He definitely brings in a lot of eyeballs. And they need a top contender for Cody. They don't have one right now. So he makes sense. You know, I'm not a fan of him, just of who he is as a human being, but he does bring in people to watch. And for whatever reason, the people in Saudi Arabia want him on all their shows, and he gets booked on all their shows.
You know what the reason is, John? He's a massive star. He's a huge star. And
He's
I'm
a decent
looking at
wrestler.
tickets available for SummerSlam. I mean, there are tickets available, definitely. But there's a lot of tickets sold. There's not a ton available. But there are some available for sure. And they are very expensive. You're not wrong about that. Tickets in like the lower bowl here. What's this? Ho!
Machi. Plus
$800?
fees.
$2,200, and you're not even on the floor,
Wow.
man.
Plus fees.
American money too, John.
Who knows how much those fees are?
20.
Ticketmaster.
Okay, you can get $2,500 on the floor here.
Oh,
Oh my God, third row is $7,600. It's like $10,000 a ticket for third row for SummerSlam. That is outrageous.
Wow. They can get away with it, too.
Yeah, well,
Amazing.
they are getting away with it. People are buying them. So as long as people keep buying, they're going to keep selling them at those prices.
who's got that kind of money?
I don't know. People that are spending all of their money on wrestling, and I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's spending
It's
that time.
expensive to live in America.
I am not sure who is spending $10,000 on a third row ticket for SummerSlam. That to me seems
The Brits?
outrageous. But there must be someone out there doing it. You know, somebody is doing it. Somebody's got money, lots of money, millions of dollars maybe,
Go to
and
SummerSlam.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to
Yeah,
spend
you
that
know,
kind of
like
money
you
on
got that
SummerSlam.
kind of money to spend. It's like, oh, I'm going to SummerSlam.
Yeah. You know, I
Plus-
guess if you're a Cleveland millionaire wrestling fan, you go to SummerSlam,
I guess
brother.
so. Then you go home.
You do it up. Huh. Yeah.
Logan makes sense, though, as a challenger for Cody, because there's no one really for Cody to challenge right now, and he needs top contenders to make his title reign feel important, because right now it kind of doesn't. AJ is a good wrestler. They had a great match, but he's not a top contender. If you look at the landscape of WWE right now, Logan Paul is one of the top guys. He should face Cody. It makes sense.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird to have him lose to Cody, though, right? Like, does he just take 3 crossroads and he loses and he's still U.S. champion? I don't like when a champion takes a major high-profile loss like that. You know? When it's non-title, it's like, okay, you just beat the champ. He's the champ, but not really. It makes a U.S. title seem like real jabroni-ish.
I mean, is it not already when he only defends it like twice every so often? Like, it's not really much of anything right now. It has to be the lowest title besides maybe the speed title right now in WWE. By the way, there's way too many titles right now. Like, it's ridiculous how almost every match they're going to have now on PLEs is a title match.
No, the lowest title in WWE is SmackDown tag team titles and the Raw tag team titles. Those are pure jabronis, and it's only jabronis holding them too. Those are the jabroni belts. Even the speed title's worth more.
Yeah, speed title is pretty cool.
Speed title is worth more than both sets of men's tag team titles. The men's tag team titles are worth nothing. No one even cares.
I don't even know who the SmackDown. Oh, is it Grayson Waller?
It's Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
That's right. Yeah.
The Traveling Wallabies.
And that's a good one. And Miz and Truth. Yeah.
It's Miz and Truth. The fucking awful Miz. Yeah. The awesome shit. Fucking bullshit. Garbage fucking team. Those guys suck. I mean, Truth is fine, but like, come on,
Miz dilutes
guys. Miz makes him so worse. He's just so much worse. Blah.
I'm going to say they're higher, though. They're both the tag team titles are higher than the speed title because Ricochet just went out and lost and being treated like, oh, I'm a loser. I can't win a match or anything. And he's supposed to be a champion.
I guess. I mean, whatever. All those belts are stupid, man. Mm-hmm. They're all stupid belts. Okay, they're all dumb. Let's just agree that they all suck and all their champions are garbage.
I think Cody's a good champion, but I think he's the face
not
of the
Cody.
company.
I'm talking about the tag team belts
and
the speed title. That's like jabroni-ish level. I think U.S. title is higher than all that.
It's getting there.
Well, Logan Paul is an actual star. I mean, Grayson Waller is not. Did you just not hear me go on and on about Logan Paul and how he's like a major star with everybody and how he's international and well-known and a household name and he's bringing in millions of dollars to the WWE with the Prime sponsorship? Is Miz doing any of those things?
I'm not saying The Miz is great. Never say that, but Logan Paul's not helping the championship by just having it around him and not defending it.
Well, what about... I think he is. I think he is. He's on one of the biggest podcasts in the world, getting millions of people watching and paying attention to the WWE. Come on, John. You are not giving Logan Paul any kind of credit. What about the fact that Logan Paul and Prime are a major sponsor of WWE? Name me one wrestler that's ever done that.
I mean, we haven't had it like that. I mean, the closest thing is like how Macho Man was like the sponsor. I mean, the fact that Slim Jim,
he was a
Macho
spokesman.
Man was a spokesman for Slim Jim. He wasn't it's not like it was his sponsorship.
It wasn't his company.
He didn't own Slim Jim. He didn't pay WWE. Macho Man didn't pay WWE. Logan Paul owns Prime. He pays WWE lots and lots of money. He's paying for his own contract. I bet you he's paying them more than they're paying him.
Sure, fine, yeah.
No other wrestler is bringing in that kind of income to the company, man. At a certain point, you got to give him his due and say, "Oh, well, that's pretty good." I mean, come on. It is not about, who's the best wrestler.
Or
it's about making money. Like, it's a business, right? John, if you were a major sponsor of a wrestling show and you were also one of the top wrestlers in the company, I think they'd make you their champion.
Doesn't mean he has to hold the title and just not do anything with it.
He's on the show like every week.
Well, we haven't seen him since when? He was on a random Raw.
He brings in the only football player I know. He's so famous, Patrick Mahomes. I know who he is. He's a quarterback for the Chiefs. He's a new Tom Brady. He's like the man of football. And he only showed up on Monday Night Raw because of his association with Prime and Logan Paul. Logan Paul had a boxing match with Floyd Mayweather, not because Logan Paul is a good boxer, but because he's such a big star, the Floyd Mayweather felt it was worthy of stepping into the ring with
He's
him.
gonna get paid.
Yeah, because it's big money business. Because Logan Paul is a draw, and he is the A side to any match that he's in, including the Cody Rhodes match. He's the draw. Saudi Arabia wants who at all their shows? Cody or Logan Paul? They're asking for Logan Paul by name. I mean, you got to give him his respect. I got to get AJ on the show to go on and on about the Paul brothers. He loves them. John, I think you're missing the big picture here. I think you're missing the big picture of like what Logan Paul is actually bringing to the WWE versus what the rest of them are bringing. Outside of The Rock, you know, I don't think there's a bigger star. Kyle Salisbury says Logan Paul is a way better draw than Cody, in my opinion. I agree. He's a big, big star. And, like, you don't have to love him. You know, you don't have to love him. I don't love him, but I recognize, like, I do respect him.
Yeah.
I do respect him.
It's a begrudging respect.
Yeah, I don't want to respect him. It's, like, annoying that I have to respect him, but at this point, it's like, hey, goddamn, man. You got to give the dude some
The
credit.
results are there.
That's it. Like, at first, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But now you're like, yeah,
You know?
all right.
You know, I see Prime in every debonair, you know?
It's everywhere. At first, when it was just in the States, you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's just like a little thing.
It's
and
a
everyone's
thing.
got
It's a fad.
thing.
Whatever. But then it's like, yo, it's everywhere here. At first, it was only like specialty places
Yeah.
here, and it was like, oh, Prime, look at that. But now it's like, it's everywhere,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
just assumed.
it's just regular.
It's
Prime.
like Red Bull. It's just like
Prime
it's
is
there.
everywhere. It's become everywhere.
It's bigger than Gatorade in a way.
Yeah, with the kids, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my son, he's like in elementary school, and there's kids at his school that are like, they love Prime. They talk about Prime, and he's like, these kids talking about Prime all the time. Because he's had it, and he's like, it's not even good. I'm like, yeah, it's not even good.
Yeah, it's too sweet.
He's like, these kids, like,
I don't get these kids.
they don't understand. Gatorade is so much better. I'm like, yeah,
Gee.
exactly.
Gee.
He loves that Gatorade, you know? It's delicious.
It is delicious.
But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, man, Prime is huge. Huge. From elementary school to college age, it is the drink. They're making money hand over fist with that thing. He's over.
It's one of the big sponsors. It's one of the big. You see it every week. You see it on all the PLEs now in the ring. Sadly, on the mat. Sadly,
And who do you think's paying for that, brother? Who do you think's paying for that? How much do you think that costs? It's not cheap.
No, it's not. And it's great that Logan gets to do that, and he gets that main spot, and now people just have to put up with it.
He's a real life Ted DiBiase.
Yeah,
You know, it's like he's buying the championship.
it's true. He's the real $1 million man.
Yeah.
It's true.
Money, 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 money. They should give him that theme song, you know?
That would be hilarious.
Have him say, you know, like the
It'd be-
stuff that
it'd be
everybody's
too-
got a price.
It'd be too funny. He'd get over as a babyface. People would love it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
$1 million championship, you know?
But you see how he works so well, Logan Paul? John is so pissed at him
yeah, he's
that he
yeah.
can't even give him credit.
He's just like, nah, this heel, I want to see him get his ass kicked.
He's such a good heel that John is even like, just fucking guy.
I hate this guy. I want to see him get his face punched in.
This punk kid. Because it pisses you off that he's got to leapfrog all the pro wrestlers and just kind of be a pro wrestler, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't paid the dues. And it's annoying.
I get that.
It's not just that; it's just how disrespectful he is as a human being. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah, but you recognize how popular he is, right? Like, he's so popular. He's very over as a
Horrible
personality
human
in the world.
beings- Horrible human beings in this world are popular. It's just the way it goes, sad.
Yeah.
They are good businessmen too.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like, I don't like him. I don't, but you go, okay, he's bringing in a whole lot of money and eyeballs to this company.
When the rubber meets the road, you know?
Yeah, well, that's it. You kind of got to give him,
Yeah.
you got to give the devil his due.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He performs.
He's not a bad wrestler too. I'm not going to say he's a terrible wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler, but
Yeah. I don't love who he is either, But I could see them putting him as WWE champion. I could see like TKO kind of telling Triple H, like, look, man, this is our guy.
A little thumb on the scale.
Yeah.
It's not this story we want to tell. It's like, we don't care about that.
Yeah, where's the business?
Yeah.
Those things.
Okay, boss.
I don't think those things are happening yet, but those things could happen real soon. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes
See how
out.
the Netflix goes.
So you think Logan just loses to Cody, takes a crossroads, and that's it? Cody beats him at the King of the Ring?
I mean, there'll be a bunch of shenanigans. I mean, he does the whole thing with the brass knucks, so he'll bring that up, and he'll bring in his clowns that he always has with him. I mean, that'll probably happen, because that usually happens in his matches.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it'll be exciting back and forth, and then I think Cody will win, because it's only Cody's second title defense on television, so he should win.
He should. That's the thing. At this point in Cody's title reign, for him to drop it to Logan Paul would be a shock.
I could see that.
It'd be a cool shock, though, right? It'd be like, oh my God. Like, people would lose their minds.
Well, it's good they have someone where you can put some doubt into people's minds that, oh, it's early, but Cody could lose here because this guy is a threat. Like, you need challengers like that. They don't have that one right now. They don't have a Seth. They don't have a Roman who could put some threat into Cody's reign, or a Rock. But, you know, I think Logan, that's a decent contender, at least. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole, like, you have a title, why aren't you defending it thing, but that's the situation we're stuck in.
Logan is going to have a big match at SummerSlam, right?
Of course.
It's in his hometown. Who does he wrestle? What's the match?
I mean, you got to think who is up and coming in a sense. He never wrestled Randy one-on-one, so that could be a match. You got to think of those matches that he hasn't done yet. That's like, oh, you really want to see Logan against him. I can't think of anyone like that. I mean, a Bronson. No, not Bronson.
He's on Raw.
Not Bronson Reed. Yeah, well, not Bronson Reed too. By the way,
No.
Not what happened to him this week. That's not going to happen.
No. I don't know. You know, and I feel like this Cody thing may have some legs to it, and it could drag all the way to SummerSlam.
Wow, that's kind of really long.
But if you're doing something with Logan at SummerSlam, it's got to be major. And there's nothing bigger than a Cody match. Maybe a Cody rematch with Logan defending.
I wouldn't mind if it was like all of Cody's past challengers. Like, you throw in AJ, you throw in Logan, whoever is after them, throw them in as well, like a 4-way at SummerSlam. I could see that.
Yeah. What's Cody's opponent at SummerSlam?
I mean, it should be Roman. Like, because does Roman ever get a rematch? He should.
No, not at SummerSlam.
Why?
At this point, I think it's there's too much stuff that Roman's got to deal with Solo and all the boys there, man. I think SummerSlam, honestly, is maybe Roman, Jimmy, Jay against Solo, Tama, and Tonga.
Well, we can talk about that because that progressed as well tonight. So
Yeah.
apparently everything's okay with the bloodline, or at least that's what they say.
That's what Solo said to Heyman,
Right.
But who knows, right?
Right.
But I feel like Roman is going to come back looking for revenge.
Could happen. There's many different ways and they do this on purpose. They keep it open where it can go many different ways.
I don't think we see Cody Roman at SummerSlam. I don't think that they do the rematch at SummerSlam. I think that Roman is going to do something with the bloodline at SummerSlam. There's going to be a bloodline war. Because that's building. That's what they've been building. I mean, come on. This whole Solo thing is begging for Roman to come back and save Paul Heyman.
I can see it go in that direction. See it go in that direction, but I still think they need to do the rematch.
Well, I don't think we're going to get it, John. I really don't. And I think, that leaves Cody open for a whole number of options. We'll see what happens at Money in the Bank. That's in July. Maybe LA Knight wins that, and he gets involved with Cody at SummerSlam, because LA and Cody one-on-one at SummerSlam will be pretty big.
He wasn't even on tonight. He's supposed to be in the King of the Ring.
What the hell happened?
I don't know what happened there.
What happened tonight? I don't understand. Everybody on Raw except Kofi and Ray had their opening round match. Kofi and Ray, I think they're doing it on like a live event tomorrow or the day after.
Oh, for real?
Right?
Yep.
They're doing it at a live event over the weekend. They're going to have their King of the Ring qualifier at a live event, which kind of is cool for the live event, right? They get a match that means something. And the winner of that match, Kofi and Ray, will take on Gunther. Gunther wrestled Sheamus in the main event of Raw this week, and it was excellent. Gunther beat Sheamus. Great match. Great match. One of the better wrestling matches I saw this week. If not the best, although I really liked Edge and Brody King. That was a lot of fun, too.
That was good. I liked Ricochet and Dragunov, so that was good, too.
That was also very good. Ilya Dragunov beat Rick O'Shea on Raw this week to advance in the King of the Ring tournament. He'll take on Jey Uso, who beat Finn Balor in the quarterfinals coming up on Monday. Now, SmackDown tonight, we had a bunch of first-round matches in the King and Queen of the Ring. We had Randy Orton and AJ Styles in the main event. I thought that was a very good match, too. Randy and AJ had a really solid match tonight. They're always good against each other. Randy hits the RKO, beats AJ Styles, and he'll move on to take on Carmelo Hayes, who beat Baron Corbin in the opening round tonight on SmackDown, which just... the hell was that? And you reminded me,
face?
Baron Corbin... Yeah, I don't know who the babyface was. I don't know what Corbin's doing there. You reminded me, Baron Corbin, he's there showing up on SmackDown, a job to Carmelo Hayes. This is the man that retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. And I remember the WWE was saying, oh, don't worry, we got plans for Baron Corbin. This is a good move. And everybody was like, this is the guy you put against Angle in his last match? John Cena's right here. He wants to do it.
Yeah.
He's begging for it. Angle wants it. WWE's like, nah. We're going to do things with Baron Corbin. This is going to be the beginning of a great career. And he's been on NXT for several years now. He shows up on SmackDown for no reason, and he's in the opening round of the King of the Ring where he loses with the quickness to Carmelo Hayes. So I'm still pissed that they had him retire Kurt Angle, because that's just an absolute travesty of pro wrestling, and they will always, always be wrong for that. I mean, there's nothing you can do with Baron Corbin at this point to make it go, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I was wrong.
No, you're going to look back at that match and go, yo, who was Kurt Angle? He retired Angle at WrestleMania? Who did Baron? Who's Baron Corbin?
It's like a hard trivia question now. Like, oh, who was that guy? It was...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how much of a nobody he is. Dropping a Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo, will you shut the door?
Will you please shut the door? That should be his gimmick.
Carmelo, will you please shut the door? People should just say that to Carmelo Hayes. That's a Sopranos reference, John. I don't know if you get it. So Tony Soprano.
I remember that.
Tony Soprano, at one point, he's in bed. Carmella, will you please shut the door?
I just saw that episode. It's because, like, she's got, like, I think Meadows playing music loud, and Carmella's in the bathroom. I think she's got something playing.
And he's just annoyed.
And he's trying to watch TV. He's just like, Carmella, can you please shut the door?
Carmella, can you please shut the door?
And then,
Carmella, can you please shut the door? I've seen, like, a YouTube edit of that where it just goes...
And like, and like his like face keeps like passing by. Yeah, I showed you that. James Gandolfini, what a performance!
Yeah. So as soon as I saw Carmelo Hayes, I just yelled out, "Carmelo, will you please shut the door?" And now that should be his gimmick: "Shut the door, Carmelo. Shut the door." Anyways, he beat Baron Corbin, and that match was stupid. It shouldn't have happened. And then Angelo Dawkins replaced Bobby Lashley because Bobby's hurt or something. and he wasn't there. They said he was hurt. I don't know. And then he wrestled Tama Tonga, and you go, oh, gee, I wonder who's going to win this match.
Yeah.
Is it the new guy in the strong group on SmackDown, or is it this jabroni guy replacing Bobby Lashley? And lo and behold, it was Tama the Tonga. Solo
his finisher.
Solo hit the spike on Montez outside the ring, which distracted Angelo Dawkins, and then Tama hit his finisher. What do you call that thing, John?
It's a Liv Morgan finisher.
It's no good because he takes a bump when he does it. I don't like it.
R-Truth had it too.
Yeah.
R-Truth calls it the lie detector, I think.
Yeah.
It's not so good.
It's called the lie detector.
Anyways,
Garbage.
he beat Angelo Dawkins, so Tama Tonga advances to the next round. But LA Knight and Santos Escobar, they didn't wrestle. They didn't have their opening round match. So maybe it'll be on a live event this weekend?
That's what they said. If not mistaken. They said that on commentary.
It's so weird. They're doing that on a live event too.
They only have so much time. I mean,
guess.
that's the problem when you book this big tournament. Maybe next time don't book such a big tournament next time. Shorter tournaments.
I don't hate it. I mean, I don't mind it. It's just like, oh, I thought LA Knight was going to wrestle, and I didn't catch it on commentary. I didn't hear them say it, so I just left SmackDown thinking, is LA Knight okay? What happened to him?
Where's LA?
So
I want to see LA.
Yeah, so it'll be on a live event, and then LA Knight will probably beat Santos Escobar in that live event, but then next week when he faces Tama Tonga, Solo and friends are going to screw LA Knight at that match, and Tama will advance to the semifinals. And that's when he will face Randy Orton. And Randy cut a promo on Tama tonight being like, I have a feeling we'll meet each other in the King of the Ring. And it's like, well, you don't think LA Knight is going to beat Santos Escobar and possibly beat Tama Tonga? Like, what about that? You don't think you'll meet LA Knight? Because that's also a possibility here, Randy. It's between Tama Tonga. Like, when Randy cut the promo, his semifinal match, first of all, Randy had to beat AJ Styles tonight, which I guess he's confident in doing. Then he has to beat Carmelo Hayes next week, which, okay, fine, he's confident in doing. But he also was talking directly to Tama Tonga because he hates him so much because he took out Kevin Owens, right? Like, they have
My friend.
He was really mad, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
It was not his best work. And I like Randy when he's got, like, a goofy guy to play off. When he's, like, serious, angry Randy, you go, all right, shut up, Randy.
Yeah,
just fucking move
bad
on.
acting.
It's weak. So Randy at that point was like, I have a feeling me and you, Tama, will meet each other. It was still between Tama, Dawkins, LA Knight, and Santos Escobar. He had 4 options of who he could possibly face in the semifinals, but Randy's like, it's going to be Tama. I know it. It's all fake. And then Tama goes on to beat Dawkins, which, like, okay, Randy didn't have faith in Dawkins, but LA Knight is probably going to beat Santos Escobar over the weekend, and then he'll face Tama Tonga next week. For Randy to just dismiss LA Knight in that one is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. And it also tells me that LA Knight is going to get screwed again by the Bloodline, which seems to always happen when he's this close to getting something big in WWE. They screw him out of it, and Tama will probably advance to the semifinals to face Randy Orton on the May 24th edition of SmackDown, which will be in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. They'll tape it in the afternoon in Jeddah. So the May 24th, the day before King and Queen of the Ring, the semifinals of SmackDown will be in Saudi Arabia. So they'll do Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga in Jeddah. So that'll be the semifinals, and I feel like Tama will win and then go to the finals of King of the Ring.
That makes sense, but I mean, I think it's a bummer that it's our first PLE since the draft, or like when it's finally finalized the draft, and we're already getting Raw versus SmackDown in the end of this.
Well, it's to cement, who's on what brand and, brand supremacy, pal.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights, pal. What are we talking about here, John? You have the draft, you figured out who's where, and now you got to clearly, align them. Be like, oh, this is Team Raw, this is Team SmackDown. I actually think it makes sense to do a Raw versus SmackDown tournament right after the draft because you're kind of like, okay, this is this team, this is that team, and these are the guys, these are the characters. No?
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
I mean, we're going to get a Survivor Series too. I mean, you're going to overdo it, but
oh yeah. We're really
PLE.
overdoing something when you do it in May and November.
Well, you have it guaranteed it's going to happen in May. Guaranteed it's going to happen in November. I bet you it's going to happen a number of times after or during that time as well.
Well, there'll probably be Raw and SmackDown guys in the Money in the Bank match.
I mean, it's always like that.
Yeah, well, that's it. But I don't know. I don't know why you care so much about the keeping them separate. Like, whatever. It's all wrestling. It's all wrestling people. I like them when they're intermingling. I think it's better because then you have more options for stories and matches, and Anyways, Gunther on the Raw side will wrestle the winner of Kofi and Ray. I don't really think it matters who wins. I think Gunther's going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He's probably going to the finals, Gunther, more than likely, I would think.
Well, then we have Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov. Okay?
Right.
And if Tama Tonga's in the finals, Jey Uso and Tama Tonga makes a lot of sense. That, to me, is the match to do. If Tama's going to the finals, which I think he will, and I think you think that too, right? Based on... Right?
I mean, if Gunther's going to the finals, Randy makes sense, though.
Yeah, but I don't think they're doing that. You think Randy is going to go to the finals? You think Randy is going to beat Tama Tonga and just go to the finals to face Gunther, and then what? Gunther beats Randy and becomes King of the Ring? Maybe.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I mean, it's a possibility. I could see it happening, but I feel like Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga makes a lot of sense, too.
There's no championship shot attached to this, right?
No.
Like, that used to be a thing.
There's nothing attached to this.
Yeah.
You're just King of the Ring.
Yeah. And then you get a gimmick as you're king this.
Yeah. But Tama Tonga as King of the Ring doesn't make a ton of sense because he's kind of like the second in command.
He's not the tribal chief.
Solo, it'd be weird to have King of the Ring as Tama with Solo kind of the leader of the group. So, I could see Gunther going to the finals. I could see it being Gunther and Randy, too. Because Gunther as King of the Ring makes more sense. Because he lost the Intercontinental title. They kind of give him another thing to kind of keep him elevated. And King of the Ring, he's the ring general, King of the Ring. It makes a lot of sense to make him King of the Ring. And him and Randy, I could see that working. That's a high-profile match. You might be right about that. You might be. I could see them
that's
going.
That's the good part about this.
Like, I could see them going with Tama and Jay, but I could also see them going with Gunther and Randy.
Right.
It is good, right? It's unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that it can go both ways like that, I feel like the women's one, it's kind of more predictable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you think it's either Gunther and Randy in the finals with Gunther winning, or Jay and Tama in the finals with Tama winning?
I would say Jay would win that one.
Jay. Yeah, I could see that too.
I would see it being Jay winning.
I think John's right, though. I think it is going to be Gunther. I think Gunther winning King of the Ring just kind of made sense at the beginning, and logically, if they're going to do something with King of the Ring, it would make sense to give it to Gunther.
And I could see Gunther doing something with it, being King Gunther and making people, because he's so big and imposing, like making people bow to him or something.
He's almost like a king already.
Yeah, he's got that kind of,
yeah,
scary king.
I could see them going
star power.
Say it again?
You just think star power, what's the bigger match? Gunther Randy, that's the biggest match I think you can do out of this tournament.
Yeah. The women's tournament you think is more predictable, easier to predict. I'm looking at it and I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. So
SmackDown. What?
Say it again?
It's going to be Jade against Bianca. I mean, it seems like it's pretty obvious that it's going to happen.
That's a big semifinal match.
I don't know.
You sure they want to do that right away?
I mean, they're doing Jade against Nia already too, so why not?
I guess. I think it's going to be Jade and Tiffany.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof.
I don't think Bianca's going to win against Tiffany next week. I think Bianca's going to lose to Tiffy Time because Bianca beat Candice LeRae tonight in her opening match to advance to the quarterfinals, but Bianca was selling like a knee injury during the match, and I think that's going to play into the match next week with Tiffy Time, and Tiffy's going to beat her. Tiffy's got Michin in the first round at a live event. She'll beat her easily. And then I think next week, Tiffy Time beats Bianca, Jade Cargill beats Nia Jax, and then we do Jade versus Tiffy Time in the semifinals. And then, I don't know, I could see Tiffy Time beating Jade and then going to the finals and becoming Queen of the Ring. Tiffy Time.
Well, they're both hurt, actually, because Jade hurt her back. I don't know if you noticed she was kind of selling.
Right.
I think her back kind of hurt.
There you go. So that eliminates them. They've already given us an out. Why would they be selling injuries if they're going to win their next matches? You know what I mean? Why
they're
would
that
you
strong, though.
Because they are that strong, but they're facing opponents that you see them building. You see them pushing. Nia Jax beat Naomi tonight to advance. It'll be Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill next week. Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven tonight was way longer than I expected it to be. Piper got a lot of over. It was shaky at times, but they got it together. But Piper, I think, is a far better in-ring wrestler than Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm.
And Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill next week. It's live TV, pal. This could get real ugly. I am
Keep it
shocked.
short.
Huh?
Keep it short.
Dude, were you not shocked that they booked Nia versus Jade next week? I'm like, do they understand what wrestling is and how this works? Because this is going to be rough. This is not going to look good. I hope Matthew from Botchamania is ready because this match is going to be a lot.
I think you got to look at it in terms of this. Like, there's improvement, at least with Jade. Like, we saw at Backlash, that was probably one of the worst matches of the year, possibly. That was a really bad match.
Yes.
But I thought tonight was okay. Tonight wasn't bad. As you said, a little shaky at times, but not bad. So, again, steady improvement. And I feel like if you continue that with Nia, I think she'll be all right the rest of the way
Nia's
through.
a wild card, though. Like, who's to say Nia just won't start, like, hitting Jade for real?
Yeah.
And then, like, who knows that you could just devolve from there?
Yeah.
She
Nia's got a bad attitude.
Yeah, who knows what, like, they might, I can see them butting heads.
It could get real
bored.
Nia's like, oh, Jade thinks she's just going to walk in here and get
I
over
can't
on
wait.
everybody. Nia kind of likes to, like, stand up to that, She went up to Charlotte. So she's not afraid to get in Jade's face.
I can't wait for that match. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see Nia Jax and Jade Cargill next week. What is that going to be?
Demolition Derby.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, the best way to do it is just have it one-sided, where Nia's just beating her up, and then Jade out of nowhere gets like a quick roll-up kind of win. That's the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah. So I'm predicting Tiffany Stratton in the finals against somebody. I don't even know. You say this is predictable. How do you see this going down? So far, Io Sky beat Natalia. Io's in the quarterfinals. She'll face the winner of Shayna versus Zelina. I think Io will win that match, go to the semifinals to face either Lyra Valkyria or Zoe Stark. Probably Lyra Valkyria, who's new from NXT. She helped Becky this week. She beat Dakota Kai on Raw. Zoe Stark beat Ivy Niles. And now it'll be Zoe versus Lyra, where the winner faces probably Io in the semifinals. So I guess maybe Lyra beats Io somehow, and it'll be Lyra and Tiffy Time in the main event for Queen of the Ring, and then Tiffy Time beats Lyra? Maybe.
Could happen.
I feel like that's going to be my direction. I'm going with Tiffy Time and Lyra in the main thing, in the finals. Lyra is going to be the finalist from Raw. She will shock everyone and beat Io Sky. in some sort with help from Becky Lynch, because she helped Becky when Damage Control was surrounding Becky this week. Liv Morgan kind of bailed, didn't help Becky, looked like she was going to, but then she decided not to. But Lyra Valkyria came out to help Becky. So I think Becky will maybe, stop Damage Control from doing something, and it'll cost Io the match, and then Lyra will go to the finals. Lyra versus Tiffy Time, and Tiffy Time will win because she's the best.
Yeah, she makes perfect sense as the Queen of the Ring.
Oh, yeah. She's going to milk it. It'll be good.
Well, I have it the same way, except Io going all the way to the finals. I'm not sure who yet, Bianca or Jade, but I would think either Bianca or Jade would win the Queen of the Ring.
Wow. Tag team champions and Queen of the Ring? I don't think that's going to work, John. Well, you don't even see Tiffy Time going to the finals?
I don't know, John.
She wasn't even on television tonight. Definitely wasn't Tiffy Time tonight.
Who cares? Tiffy Time. Don't make me...
It's time. It's Tiffy Time. You hear what this watch says?
Give me back my watch. What?
Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam. Give me back my watch, son. What? What?
That was in Montreal.
Classic.
It was in Montreal, yeah.
Tiffy Time. What? Goddamn, pal. Tiffy Time 2024, baby.
No, she's good. I'm not going to say she's bad or anything. She's good, but she's on the rise. It's just I don't think she's going to win the Queen of the Ring. I mean, it's not a bad idea, like you say. Like, she's going to have a good showing, but I think right now they're just pushing. I think they're pushing Jade and Bianca right now.
They're working hurt to their semifinal matches. I think they're going to lose. We will find out next week on SmackDown. Interesting, though, because we're seeing it a little bit differently. Yeah. We got different opinions. And I think that's what's cool about this King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, you're like, not sure where it's going to go. And even until the finals, I think it'll be interesting. So I like that they've brought this back, and I like the format. I like that it's long. I like that it's over several weeks. I like that it is, 16 people in each tournament? I think that's great. You give so many people a shot. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 16. It's a 16-person tournament on either side. Like, that's good. You're giving a lot of options out there. A lot of the first round matches though seem kind of like, oh yeah, we know who's gonna win all of these. They like the first round match. Like the first round matches were predictable, but once you get to the quarterfinals, you go, I don't know, could go a lot of different ways, which is fun.
Yeah, they should just start with the quarterfinals right away. That's the matches you really want to see. But they had a couple of matches interesting in the first round, so I get it. But
they had good matches.
For the most part.
Yeah, and you got to fill time. Like, they have TV shows. They got stuff to, they have to put stuff on those shows. And I think they set it up well. And also, by putting those other people in the tournament, you kind of validate them in a way. You kind of make, those people, like, the losers in the first round, like Zoe Stark and Ivy Knott, and Dakota Kai and Piper Niven and Candice LeRae. It's just like, oh, well, they're at least they're in it. Like, they're still... They're not winning, but they're important. Like Ricochet, Sheamus, like, it's kind of tough to be like, yeah, we're going to do King of the Ring tournament, but Sheamus isn't in it. Well,
he was a former King of the Ring.
And now you have Sheamus in the tournament. He had a tough opening round against Gunther. He lost, but Gunther's probably going to go all the way. So, these things happen. I like that it's so wide open. And Gunther and Sheamus, like that main event of SmackDown, you figured Gunther would win, but Sheamus just came back. Like, it could have gone either way.
There was interference. There was a bit of cheating involved. So, there was a little bit of an out for Sheamus. What I don't get, though, is it doesn't really make sense in terms of the storyline, how Damage Control, they had to kick out Bayley, because Bayley, what a loser, wins the Royal Rumble. We got to kick her out. Yet Dakota Kai, who's come back and lost every match that she's ever had.
Yeah.
Apparently, she has to be like the spokesperson for the group. And they have no problem with that. See, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
But she's the jobber. Someone's got to take the fall.
Maybe it's a matter of time before they kick her out, too.
Yeah.
Well, they can't because, isn't Asuka, hurt now? She can't walk.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Poor Asuka. I just saw a comment on the screen pop up. I was like, what the hell? Who are we talking about in the chat? Oh,
I
Tiffany.
think that Naomi was having some problems with her
yes.
wardrobe tonight.
Yes,
Oh, we saw
Naomi seemed to keep adjusting her top, right? There was some issues there in her match. I didn't
throughout
see
the whole
anything.
match.
Huh?
Like she adjusted it like the whole match. Every move, it was like adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis, by the way, on the chat. Ray Cruz as well, member of the team. Kyle Salisbury checking in. All members over at join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net is where you want to go to support the channel. Membership.ringsidereport.net as well. Membership.ringsidereport.net. Support the channel. Support the Ringside Report Network. Support the boys.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy!
No Pretty Deadly tonight.
Man, if
There's no
Pretty
room.
Deadly would have come out on Raw, I was going to take my shirt off and put it over my head and go, yes, boy! Like those guys. That's what we do in my house. We all do it. Me and both of my children, we put our shirts over our heads like this, and we just have the shirt over here, over our shoulders, like Pretty Deadly, and we put our arms out just like them, and we go, yes, boy! We all do it together. Even little Zola, who's 2 years old, she does it. She loves it.
I'm sure
She's
she
like,
does.
she's like, I do, yes, boy! And then she wants me to, like, pull her shirt over, and she does it. Yes, boy! It's adorable.
I'm sure it is.
Adorable. We love Pretty Deadly. Like, I know it's a tag team that no one seems to care for, but in my house, they're over like Rover, brother. They are big stars. I love them. They are hilarious. I saw that there's a Pretty Deadly WWE Elite figures coming out. You know I got to get those. I gots to get me some Pretty Deadlies. Oh, baby.
All right, in the modern day, like bushwhackers in a sense.
Oh, they're so funny, man.
Was it like to me like the Fandango and Breeze?
Yeah, a little bit, but they got the British accents too.
It's Australian.
Are they Australian? No, they're British, aren't they?
I believe they are British. Not
Yeah.
mistaken.
British. Yeah.
Pretty and Deadly. They're British.
Oh, the Brits.
I play as them in WWE 2K24 too. I play as Elton Prince or Kit Wilson.
They can't be highly rated.
No, they're
overall. They're like
super-
67s or
They're
something.
super low ranked. They are totally jabronis. They're both from England.
Oh, all right.
They're British.
Good for them.
Yes, boy! They're funny guys. I don't see enough of those guys. They should be tag team champions on SmackDown. They'd be way better. Wow, they had other tag team names before Pretty Deadly. They were Greased Lightning and the Pretty Bastards.
That's pretty good.
I like Pretty Bastards. Look at these pretty bastards. Yes, boy!
That wouldn't fly on Fox, though, I don't think.
Their
And that
song
kind of
is
tag
so
name.
good, too.
You lovely bastards.
Tremendous. What an act. I don't know why WWE doesn't have those guys more on TV. Put those guys on all the TV shows.
This is the problem with having a tournament. Like, it eats up a lot of time.
Yeah, we don't get to see Yes Boy. I just like the entrance too when they come out and they're like, yeah. They do great promos, man. Those guys are funny. Those guys are classic. Pretty Deadly, boy. Yes, boy. Okay. So Solo told Heyman that he spoke to Roman Reigns and he's in charge of the bloodline now, and Heyman hasn't spoken to Roman Reigns, and he's in charge by orders of the tribal chief. John, I don't know about you, but I think Solo's lying. I don't think Solo's spoken to Roman. He's just talking shit to Heyman.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Paul Heyman lied
Definitely.
first, so... I
Yeah.
mean, it's Paul Heyman's fault at first, so... Solo's just, lying back. That's
Classic
fine.
John blaming the Jews once again.
Oh,
I'm just, Heyman's a horrible human being when you look at it.
How dare you?
He is a horrible human being, though. All the people that he manipulated in ECW, and look at where he is and look where they are right now. And people are happy about that. I don't know. To me, that looks like
RVD's
he
doing
got away
all right.
with it. RVD's doing okay, yeah. He's one of the few, but
The Dudley boys are
Heyman's
doing
still
all right.
old. Yeah, they're doing okay.
Sabu's still alive.
Thomas the Dreamer seems like he's doing okay.
Yeah, but they went through a lot of hardships because of Paul.
Sandman's still alive somehow. Come on.
Yeah,
Raven.
Sandman's getting through somehow.
Look at all the guys that got careers and names and money because of Heyman and ECW. Look at all the stars. And they're still here today. They're still rocking.
Not all of them.
No, but a lot of them are. Like, a lot of the guys that became mega stars, like, yeah, they're still doing well. And they love Heyman. They showed up for his Hall of Fame. They didn't have to. Why you got to disparage the good name of Paul Heyman here, John? What's the deal? I mean, yeah, he's a wrestling promoter. He's a guy that lied a lot. It's funny, but, like, who doesn't do that as a wrestling promoter? Name me one wrestling promoter that's not doing underhanded tactics. Come on. They all do stuff, man. It's a greasy business. You got to do what you got to do to survive. Everybody's hustling. Carny folk.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you don't have to praise him like he's the greatest person in the world, because he definitely did a lot of horrible things.
He's a great wrestling mind, though, and horrible things, I think, is kind of...
wrestling is varying degrees.
Yeah, what's horrible? I mean, compared to
Vince stuff.
Compared to Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman is actually a very good guy.
Fair enough. Sure.
Yeah.
Seems to love his kids.
Yeah. Compared to the great wrestling minds of the past 50 years, Paul Heyman is actually among the very best gentlemen. Come on.
I mean, he didn't exactly create the greatest environment in the world for a lot of people that were having issues. But
Johnny's seen one too many Dark Side of the Rings, and he's turned on Paul Heyman.
A little bit.
Yeah. Because the ECW guys, the only guys who agree at this point to do, like...
Come on, man. Just because he allowed drugs in his locker room doesn't mean he was, giving them the drugs. He was just like, these guys are going to party. They're going to do what they're going to do. He just wasn't policing the guys.
Was Vince?
Yeah, was Vince?
Come on. Vince would say that he
back
was.
in the day.
I don't know why you're attacking Paul Heyman like this. How dare you? Johnny's clearly Team Solo. But that's fine. Roman Reigns, our true tribal chief, will come back and save the day eventually. And it'll be, I think, Roman and possibly both Usos, if Jimmy is healthy in time, against Solo, Tama, and Tonga Loa. I think that's the move. That's the biggest match they could do right now with that story. But what do I know? I thought the biggest match they could do with the Roman Reigns story would be The Rock, and they never got around to that. So, who knows what they do with the Bloodline. But I'll tell you, of the stories on SmackDown, it's the best one going. It's the most interesting. They got the most, moving parts. They got new members. You're kind of not sure what to make of Tama Tonga or Tonga Loa at this point. Where do they rank in WWE? How are they on the pecking order? Are they really strong? Are they beating everybody? Are they kind of mid-card? We don't know yet. We don't know, how did they act? How did they talk? We really haven't seen them say much of anything. And how does it all progress? Where does Roman fit into all this? Is Jacob Fatu next? I'm seeing Ryan Katz say Jacob Fatu could be next. That is the rumor, very strong rumor that he's going to be joining this group. Like, what's next for this whole group? So I'm intrigued. They got me. I think they're doing a really good job with this, right? It's cool.
Yeah. Tonga Loa also? Or?
Tonga Loa,
yeah.
Tama Tonga.
Who's Hikuleo?
Hikuleo is he's the big one.
He's also apparently making like hints that he might be joining too.
If they got all of those guys in one group, it's a cool group. So it's the most intriguing thing going on SmackDown right now. Story-wise, it's a cool thing that they have. And I liked Solo's performance in the promo with Heyman tonight. Solo is really strong in these promos. Like, his acting ability is really good. For a guy that hasn't been doing it for that long, like, to be able to kind of have that gravitas in a scene is very good. Gravitas.
No, I completely agree with you with that one. It's true with Solo. It's just I feel they need to start booking him better in matches. Like, I believe the match at Backlash was like his first win since he beat Cena, if I'm not mistaken. And that was back in, November?
Mm.
So they got to keep building for that.
What did you think of Backlash, by the way? I thought that the tag team match was the match of the night. We didn't get your thoughts on Backlash. It was just the brothers doing the show. Your match of the night was the triple
Women's,
threat,
yeah.
right?
Bailey, Tiffany, and
That was good.
Bianca? No.
Naomi.
Naomi.
Bailey,
Yeah, that's right.
Naomi, and
Yes.
Tiffany. Yeah.
Yes. It was a very good match. My favorite match, though, was Solo and Tama versus Kevin and Randy. I thought that match was fantastic, and that was my match of the show, match of the afternoon. His was the triple threat. What was yours?
I'd have to say Cody and AJ.
Oh,
That
man.
was a great match.
3 difference.
It was very good, too. I really liked that.
Like,
It was a solid pay-per-view wrestling-wise.
The crowd was hot.
Yeah, very hot.
if anything, it was just really, well, besides the women's tag, it was really just the booking of certain matches, like where they were placed. Like, I thought the tag to start the show was good, but it's like, you shouldn't start a show with like a crazy backyard wrestling match. That should have been a bit later on the show, because I thought it kind of took away from the three-way a little bit, because you just saw all the craziness, and then they try to do a little bit of craziness, but it's not as good as what you just saw. So the match feels like it's not as good when it actually is good. So I felt the placement of some matches, like that should have been later on in the show, that match.
Mm-hmm.
But still a good match. I won't take away from it how good it was. Just booking wise, I would have put it somewhere else. And again, I thought Solo, like, you haven't really seen him been used that strong, and they kind of got almost destroyed, except they had interference to help the win. So they didn't look particularly strong in the match.
Mm-hmm. What did you think overall of the show? What kind of grade do you give it? I think I gave it, what, like a 7, 7.5?
It was like 6.5.
6.5-ish. Yeah, I gave it like a 7-ish. It was solid. Solid wrestling.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7.5. I mean, it lost points because of the women's tag. That was one of the worst matches.
Yeah.
And just placement of matches. But, I mean, that was probably the best crowd we're going to get all year, without question, I think.
Yeah, the crowd was nuts.
Il est vraiment phénoménal. That was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, when I saw
They were
AJ
into
come
everything.
out, I was kind of like, oh, they're not going to like do the crazy chant for him. Like, we're not going to get that anymore.
And then they did.
No. I mean, at tonight.
Oh, yeah, tonight.
Like,
yeah, it's no fun.
audiences aren't going to do that for him at like where
Yeah.
he goes. It sucks.
It's too
They
bad.
sang for Randy.
Yeah, but it'd be
That's
cool.
thing now, singing.
Maybe next time they come to Montreal, we could
I'm going to definitely.
see. Maybe AJ will get that, from the French fans here, but probably not. Probably
It's a
not.
soccer
SmackDown.
chant,
Yeah, but it was cool, man. It was a good atmosphere. All the matches were hot. It was a great show there in France, and I think France showed up so well for that show. They deserve another big event. Like, I hope that they get another one, maybe next year or the year after, like a Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank or something, because clearly they love it.
You think they could fill like the Stade at the Paris?
I don't know.
That's a big stadium.
I
they got
don't know.
there. But maybe
there was definitely demand. They sold out this arena, and the fans were really, really passionate. So clearly they have a passionate fan base out there. And if they can't do a stadium, they could do another arena show, and they could give them another premium live event, because that's a fan base.
There's a big arena in Paris too. The Accor Arena. It's like really big.
That's a fan base that deserves another big show. Like they showed up. That was a great atmosphere.
Did you see the ticket prices for that?
Yeah, very high.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the Clash
The
at the
lowest was
castle.
like-
Well, didn't they say that was their biggest gate for an arena show ever?
I believe it. If you look at the
Right.
prices, it's crazy. Like,
Now,
I can't believe
imagine doing your biggest gate for an arena show when you've done like 20,000 seat arenas. This was a 12,000 seat sellout. You're selling 12,000 tickets, and it's more money than you've ever made for any arena show ever in the history of WWE. They're just bragging about how much they overpriced tickets for this Paris show, or Lyon show. I mean, it's just a brag of like, can you believe we charged so much for tickets and they bought them? Report that, you Mark Dirt Sheets. Fucking Triple H. I could go off on Triple H again this week, but I'll probably
This week.
I'm going to try to refrain from doing it. Although he said some dumb shit again at the Backlash post presser, right?
About Drew Gulak?
He doesn't like people. Like, is this a big surprise? Like, are people shocked by this? Or Triple H doesn't like people.
Those guys that reported that, I think it was like Fightful and PW Insider. He was asked, Fightful PW Insider reported Drew Gulak was fired because of the Ronda Rousey comments. Was it or he was fired? Was it because of what Ronda Rousey said about him? And Triple H is like, those people don't know what they're talking about. It's not real news sources. They don't just report bullshit. And I was like, oh, okay. Triple H kind of taking some shotskis there. But also, he's kind of like, what kind of question is that? And he just didn't answer the Gulak question. He didn't answer anything about Ronda, didn't address it. And, I'm sorry, when one of the biggest stars of your company alleges that somebody touched her inappropriately while she was working there, and the guy is still contracted by your company, or maybe not, I think it's worth addressing as the figurehead of the company. But as we've seen time and time again from Triple H, when he gets any tough questions, he either does what he did this past weekend, was kind of bark at the reporter and go, what are you asking questions like that for? Or he goes, I want to focus on the positive. I don't want to talk about how my father-in-law shits in people's hair. And it's like, yeah, no shit, you don't want to talk about that, Triple H. But, bitch, you're the fucking head of this thing. You're doing press conferences. And when people ask you legitimate questions, you kind of have to answer them. And the fact that no one holds his feet to the fire at these press conferences and just lets him slide shows you that it's just straight up mark-ass people that want to have a selfie with Triple H and be in the same room and get free tickets and eat fucking catering. They want the free hot dog and the free seat up in the press box. Fucking marks. Every single fucking one of them that just allowed Triple H to walk all over one of their own.
And there was new stuff this week that came out about Drew Gulak.
Oh,
not sexual, but that, while he was looked in NXT as kind of like a player coach, he would exacerbate people's injuries. Like, he would attack people. Like, someone had a bad ankle, he would stomp on it, and he would be
he dropped someone on their head.
Yeah,
cool.
And Shawn Michaels apparently yelled at him months ago, but nothing came of it. And then he was seen as sort of like a Bill DeMott kind of figure,
cool.
That tough love kind of thing,
Sure. But how about just Ronda said that stuff about Drew Gulak? He touched her inappropriately, grabbed her pants, and then Triple H, when asked about it, doesn't even address that, which is a serious issue that he should talk about and maybe defend or explain or say, I talked to Ronda and we discussed it and it was a misunderstanding or whatever. Has he called Ronda? Has he contacted her to see what could we do? What happened? To me, if you hear about that, you call Ronda and Ronda, you're saying some stuff. Maybe we could talk, whatever. But no, he doesn't do that. Doesn't address anything. When he's asked a direct question, he goes, oh, those Fightful people, they don't know what they're talking about. They report bullshit facts. Avoiding the question, Triple H. Yet the wrestling fans and the mark-ass reporters want to talk about, it's a new day in WWE, and isn't Triple H the best, and he's the savior of WWE, and we're so glad that Big Bad Vince is gone, and Triple H is here to help us and save us and clean up pro wrestling. He wants you to be on the grind. He wants you to wrestle 365 days a year, break your body down, and barely be able to get out of bed by the time you're 45 and possibly not make it to 45. That's the life that Triple H wants for you. How was his life? Oh, he had a bus, and he was very rich, and his father-in-law owned the company and let him work on top and work a reduced style, a slower style, so that he could, also stay safe in the ring. And he still managed to be overblown on supplements.
When he was Fat H?
I don't want to get sued, but let's say he took really good supplements and managed to tear his quad every other day, which, you kind of wonder, Why were you tearing all those muscles, Triple H? You had a whole lot of them sometimes, and then sometimes you didn't, and then sometimes you'd come back from injury and you'd be really jacked, and for some reason, all the guys around you that were just as jacked, if not a little less jacked, at that time when you were on top, they failed wellness policy. They got popped and they got suspended publicly shamed by the company, yet you managed to never fail one of those tests, even though you were the most jacked guy on the motherfucking roster. Explain that, bitch. Fuck Triple H, man. Like, holy shit. The more I think about him and the fucking balls what a hypocritical fucking asshole. Fuck this guy, man. I'm telling you, he's not the good guy that the wrestling world is painting him to be right now. Those comments on Ospreay, the comments this past weekend, he keeps saying dumb shit.
He's a doofus.
Fucking doofus. It's unbelievable. If it was not for Stephanie McMahon, if Vince didn't have a daughter, this fucking guy would be signing autographs at Comic Cons with the rest of the brothers. Like,
second to next to Kevin Nash.
Get fucking real, man.
Like him, doing a panel, being like the Click, looking back.
If Vince stopped at Shane, Triple H has a fucking podcast right now.
Him and Sean.
Fuck out of here. Reality check, motherfucker. Him and Sean.
Hey, remember DX in 97? Next week, we've got Road Dogg on the show. That'll be great. Hey,
this is brought to you by Audible.com.
Hey, it's me, Triple H. Oh, I really like what Tony Khan's doing. I'm not angling for a job. I just think he's really good.
He's a good kid.
Yeah. Does he have a daughter?
Seriously. If this guy didn't marry Stephanie, he'd be nowhere. He wouldn't have been on top. He wouldn't be running the show now. Fucking Tom Whamsgams, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here, Triple H. He thinks he's he thinks he's Ric Flair. He thinks he's Dusty Rhodes. He's just the guy that married the boss's daughter. Did a lot of juice. Come on.
Let's call a spade a spade. The ace of spades.
Fucking Triple H.
I'm the measuring stick.
You were never the measuring stick, bro. You were never the best.
No.
You were never even top 5 when you were on top. In your prime, you weren't close.
That's what made his run so frustrating.
It was horrible.
It was just like, why aren't they pushing like Jericho or
Kurt Angle? Oh, Kurt Angle had to leave because,
or Chris Benoit.
Christian had to leave because, Triple H,
I hate to actually put over Triple H here, but I'm going to do it a little bit here. Like longevity, man. Longevity is the thing. The fact that he stayed there for so long showed loyalty. That's why he's there. That's why he's in the spot that he's in. Obviously, a lot of it was with Stephanie, but the fact that he was so loyal to WWE and listened to Vince. Vince was able to groom him into the spot that he's in now.
Yeah, Vince groomed a lot of people.
Yeah, that's not the right one.
We don't know if he got crapped on or not. We don't know about that.
He was told, Vince did say, you're going to have to eat some shit and like it.
Yeah.
When after the curtain call. That's what Vince told him.
Him and Sean did dump a pile of shit on him and Shane one time.
The Spirit Squad.
Yeah, they dumped a bunch of poop on Vince and Shane one time.
Yeah, on Raw.
That was probably Vince living out some sort of sick fantasy.
Oh, yeah. You're going to dump it all on me. Bring it. Yes.
Probably got horny doing that.
Yeah.
With his son.
If I'm not mistaken, they only started doing these like media scrums because what happened with Punk and AEW. Like, I don't remember WWE doing these media scrums before like AEW was doing these. And they only caught on because of what happened with Punk. And I feel WWE is doing this whole, have their people in to ask the questions. Because I don't know if you heard the reporter that got asked, who asked the question to Triple H, said that the PR guy was upset with him that he would ask that kind of question, that he ruined the vibe of the room because of that. So it just feels like they have their people that they want in there. It's not a real media scrum.
Nope.
Really. They don't want real reporters, because when they get real questions, things like this happen. In the end, they shouldn't really have a media scrum, because I don't think it helps them in the end. Just have their guys go out, do the little talk, but don't field questions.
No, because once in a while, if you allow media in there, some real media guy will slip in and ask a real question, and Triple H will have a dumb answer to a real question, like he did about the Ronda Rousey Drew Gulak thing this weekend, like he did about the Vince stuff when it first broke. He just has dumb answers to questions. Triple H is worse on these post-event press conferences than CM Punk was, and that's saying a lot, because CM Punk caused explosions and fights and everything. Muffins.
Ate some muffins, yeah.
He ate a lot of muffins, bro.
And that lime drink.
I like the guy who eats the pickles. I like that guy. Bring the pickle guy back. Pickle Man. Pickle Man Friedman. Where's my man MJF? I miss him.
Yeah, me too.
I miss him dearly. I hope he comes back to AEW soon. Triple H, he could suck it.
I got 2 words for you.
Fucking Triple H. He's had his moments. He's had some great matches for sure. But, the way he's acted, the way he's just the arrogance, the hypocrisy, and, the run on top, which fucking sucked. It sucked too, John. It was horrible.
The Reign of Terror. It's commonly referred to.
The Reign of Terror.
But it lasted so long, and he became a staple just in WWE history, because he did so many WrestleManias, wrestled so many guys, and made so many guys.
He made Randy and Batista.
And Cena.
It wasn't all him.
And
Taker,
I think some
Big Show.
people say he made
JBL.
Benoit.
Him and Shawn made Benoit.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't know. He was always in the position to make these people because he was always on top and pushed to
for
the top.
9 months where you're just begging for him to lose.
I mean, he was always booked so ridiculously strong. It's like, yeah, okay, he's going to be in the position to make some people. He better. Because if not, people are going to stop watching the show. He needs some opponents, too. You can't just steamroll through everybody. Once in a while, you got to lose so you have some credible opponents to face. Even he recognized that. Look, we're not going to rehash 2002 Triple H, but let's just say it sucked.
Yeah.
Him and Randy Orton, watch any of those matches. They're all bad. They had like a million of them, and they all sucked. Each and every one of them. Some worse than others, but they were all bad. All of them.
We were just talking about that No Mercy 2009 where they wrestled twice. Triple H wrestled 3 times in that pay-per-view. But Trips and Randy wrestled twice.
All bad matches.
Including the last man standing match.
Yeah. Triple H 2009, the DX reunion. I mean, come on.
But yeah, that might be my least favorite one. That post-second quad Triple H, 2008, 2009, where he's just on top and running.
And doing
beating Jeff Hardy all the time.
Doing comedy bits with Shawn, though, that was the worst.
Yeah.
Hey,
I got this sausage.
And then he's just feuding with Vince. Vince loves cock. All that stuff that they did. Holy shit, that was bad, man. The only reason they were allowed to do it was because, they were buddies with Vince. And it was just all buddy-buddy bullshit. And the audience had to sit through it. And that's his whole career. It's his whole goddamn career. Bullshit, because he's tight with Vince. And then all of a sudden, when Vince is gone, it's like, I don't know him.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I didn't know what he was up to. I had no idea.
I don't recall.
Okay.
It's like, do you know Greg? No.
Yeah.
Isn't WWE
that is to say I
know of him.
I know of him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I know what Vince.
Yeah. Do you know Vince? No.
No.
What?
No
Here-
Trips?
Here. Yeah. No. fucking ridiculous. What a goofball. you go,
Isn't
defend.
WWE siding with Vince right now in the whole lawsuit right now? Like, isn't that going on?
Probably. They're a reprehensible fucking entity, and I wouldn't be surprised that they would side with Vince. I mean, they'll side with anybody. This is the same company, John, the TKO group, that saw the president of the UFC on TMZ slap his wife across the face on New Year's Eve. Video of this everywhere.
Yeah.
And they went, we'll stick it with Dana.
Hey, he's still out there promoting UFC. He's the face, on interviews and stuff.
And then he's not just the face of that, he's also the face of slap fighting.
Yeah.
He's the promoter of slap fighting. And they had to delay the start of slap fighting after the slap wife incident. But it was just a delay, and now it's in full effect, and people are accepting it as a freak sport. So TKO, clearly, I mean, they don't care. They don't have morals and values. They will allow the president of the UFC, a company they own, to be on video slapping his wife in a fight. I mean, she hit him first, I guess, so maybe it's self-defense. If she's bigger than you, is it self-defense? It's a question Drake was asking about Kendrick. It's a whole other story that we could get into, but we won't. Let's get into some AEW news this week. Big Johnny. We had Dynamite. We had the Young Buckaroos coming out and making fun of Kenny Omega and what they did to him. Kenny Omega, though, did a promo from the hospital earlier on and said there's going to be a match and you guys will have opponents and it's not going to be me, but don't worry, I've enlisted some friends. And out come FTR to respond to the Bucks and Okada and Jungle Boy. And then with FTR, you got Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston together for some reason.
Don't they hate each other?
With FTR for some reason. I guess the Blackpool Combat Club is barely a thing now for Bryan Danielson. Wheeler Yuta has been hurt for a while. John Moxley is the IWGP champion, and Claudio is just kind of existing on his own. I don't know what Bryan's doing here, but, it is a super team of sorts for AEW to go up against the Elite. The Elite, kind of like the new NWO on Dynamite, the theme song for Dynamite, it's just shots of the Elite, which I think is really funny. I really like that. Like, it's just them. Mm-hmm. They don't show, like, anybody else in AEW. It's just Okada, the Bucks, and Jungle Boy. Just, like, shots of them doing cool things. And that's just the theme to Dynamite. It's like they... Yeah, that's it. Like, they've fully taken over the show.
Everybody, yeah.
Like NWO style. So it is kind of cool. And because it does feel like NWO-ish, I wonder if they're going to add more members to their group. They already kind of have Christian aligned with them, but not fully. Christian seems to have a massive group now because Christian was doing a promo this week on Dynamite, and you had the, what are they called? The Brothers of Destiny? What are they?
I'm drawing a blank now, too.
What are those guys called with Brian Cage? It's Brian Cage and his tag team friends, right? What the hell are they called? You don't know.
I don't know.
Fucking nobody knows.
Well, they are collectively known as the Mogul Embassy, if I'm not mistaken.
So did all of the Mogul Embassy turn on Swerve? Except Nana, right? Nana's still with Swerve.
Except Nana wasn't there, so we don't know what's going on with Nana.
Oh, no.
Oh, Nana?
Oh, Nana. Toa, Leona, and Khan is his name, possibly?
Khan!
What are their tag team names, though? I really have no idea. I have
I'm thinking Girls of Destiny, but that's New Japan.
There's it's something like that. It's some stupid name. Gates of Agony.
Gates of Agony. I believe you're right about that. Actually, yeah.
Is it Gates of Agony?
Yeah, I think so.
What a shit tag team name.
A lousy metal band.
So the Gates of Agony have turned on Swerve, which it's like, it's supposed to be a big deal when they attacked him and powerbombed him and everything with Brian Cage, but it's like, Those guys are barely with Swerve. You don't really see them with Swerve that much. And they're so insignificant in AEW, you go, oh yeah, I guess they're heels and Swerve's a babyface. It makes sense. It didn't hit the way that I think it was supposed to. And I don't even know if Christian's with them officially. Like, have they joined with Christian's patriarchy group, or are they hate Swerve now and they did that one time and now they'll disappear? You know, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony have just turned on Swerve, and now it's just a way to write them off from the Swerve story, and they will now disappear into the abyss of AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever.
Yeah.
And Christian still has his regular group with the kid and the kid's mom and Luchasaurus. That's what I gathered from that whole segment where Christian did a promo and then Swerve's guys turned on him and then they attack Swerve. I don't think it's so much they're with Christian now and they're a force as, you know, they're not with Swerve anymore and now they'll disappear, which is not great. To beat the hell out of the champion and then just kind of disappear afterwards and not really have a role, but I feel like that's how AEW does things.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, from what it looked like, it seemed like Christian had some influence in all this, that he maybe said something to them and told them, like, oh, like, he doesn't, help you guys out. Like, he's not there for you. Like, why are you with them? That's what it kind of seemed like he was hinting at a bit.
Yeah.
He was kind of guiding them, telling them what to do. So it seemed like he played a little bit of part in this, but I don't think they're a part of his group. Exactly. But I thought this was actually a pretty good segment, though. To me, this was engaging. I thought this should have started the show, to be honest. I thought this was a great way to get the feud going with Christian. I thought it had some great lines, great back and forth, Christian and Swerve. Like, I'm more invested in that match now because of what they did.
Swerve had some good lines. Swerve said some good stuff.
About Toronto? Yeah.
Yeah, what was the line he said? It was something like, you're another fake.
Isn't the first time the West Coast?
It's not the first time a guy from the West Coast beats up a fake father from Toronto.
That was the Drake Kendrick thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kendrick is saying that Drake is a bad father and Christian pretends to be everybody's father. It was a good line.
No, they had some good back and forth there. I think Christian said something, too, about being a better father to Swerve's daughter, too. Like, there was some really good stuff they had.
Yeah,
and
what
I thought
was
the
that?
crowd, too.
What was Christian saying about Swerve's kid? Because Swerve's not with the kid or something, right?
Well, no, I think Swerve made mention that it's not always easy to be there for his kid, and maybe sometimes he's not always there, but he wants to be. And Christian was like, don't worry, like, I can be there for her when you can't, kind of thing, when I'm the champion. Christian beat Christian, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought Christian was great, too. Like, they're in Edmonton and went over how, like, Vancouver's going to beat Edmonton. Like, that just got tremendous heat.
Big heat.
Saying that.
Yeah.
Big hockey heat.
Because the game was later on that night, too, so it was just perfect. And, like, I thought the crowd was much better in Edmonton than it was in Winnipeg the week prior.
I learned about hockey when I watched AEW Dynamite. I learned that Winnipeg had lost last week, and then I learned this week that Edmonton was playing Vancouver in the NHL playoffs. So that's how I learned about hockey, by watching promos on Dynamite, because they're in Canada these days. Adam Copeland, or Edge, versus Brody King, I thought was a really fun match. Orange Cassidy beat Trent Beretta. I thought it was, what it was.
Ridiculous ending.
Yeah? You didn't like the ending?
Well, it's just like, Orange wins, whatever, but then, like, the beatdown what Trent does afterwards, like, gives him a pile driver on the steel steps.
Yeah.
And then, like, they just keep going, just keep fighting, and tries to hit him with the chair afterwards, and it's just like, what, does anything, like, kill him? Like, no? Like, there's no injury there or nothing? Like,
no.
Just keep fighting?
Can't beat Orange.
It seemed a little too much.
I don't know. I think they wanted to have Orange win, but Trent still kind of attack and show that the feud was not over. I don't know. Okay. I'm not super invested in the breakup of the best friends. Mariah May beat Harley Cameron. I think we're getting ready for May versus Tony Storm at some point. I don't know when, because Tony Storm's going to face what's her name?
Thunder Rosa?
Serena
No,
Deeb.
Oh, yeah.
Serena Deeb
Oh, yeah,
at
that's
Double
right.
or Nothing. So I don't know. But Mariah May keeps winning. It feels like at some point she'll go up against Tony Storm. And yeah, I thought the best match was the Edge match on Dynamite this week. Rocky
enjoyed
Romero and
Jericho's
Jay
good.
White. Rocky Romero and Jay White was okay.
It was okay. I enjoyed Jericho what he's doing. I think that's really coming together.
I mean, I liked his promo afterwards, but the match itself was just him and Big Cass beating up two jobbers.
Oh yeah, that wasn't anything special, but I'm just loving like how they're building this thing with him and Big Bill, and like the way he's all like thank you to everything, and I'm loving the way he's kind of accepting this whole Jericho Vortex angle.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential for this, and like this could be one of the biggest things they have going in AEW. I think.
Yeah, I like it. The For the World Championship and the promo where he's just over the top nice and fake nice, and it's a good character. I like how he's reinvented himself once again, and he's got Big Bill there with him. It's kind of his new heater, his new backup, his new Jake Hager, if you will. So I think that works. Does Hager still work for the company?
I believe so, but you don't see him around.
Ever. So, yeah, Big Bill there with Jericho. I think it makes sense. I think it works. I like it. John, Dark Side of the Ring this week was about
Like Saturday.
Vince.
Black Saturday, right? Vince McMahon taking over the TBS station and buying the controlling stake of Georgia Championship Wrestling, kind of out from under Ole Anderson. And it was cool to get the perspective of Ole Anderson's son, and his story, and just to get all the little details about how it went down and how people felt at the time. Like, I don't think I was born when it happened, so it was cool to hear from the people who were there and who were in wrestling and what it meant and all of that, and Vince buying the time slot on TBS and what it meant for pro wrestling, and especially Georgia Championship Wrestling, and how it basically killed their business, even though their business was kind of on the downturn anyways from the problems with Jim Barnett. Jim Barnett was running the show, and Ole Anderson and the Briscoes had a piece of the company, and they felt that Barnett wasn't doing right by them, so they kicked him out, and then they installed Ole as the lead of Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then they didn't like how he did it, and then the Briscoes wound up selling their stake of Georgia Championship Wrestling to Vince McMahon, which allowed him to then kind of take over the TV and everything, and it makes a whole lot of sense why Vince McMahon has been so loyal to the Briscoes all these years, because that was a big, big move that they made in his favor, and they never looked back. They stayed with Vince, and hearing Jerry Briscoe talk on that show, he does not regret his decision. That was the best decision for him and his whole family. So it was cool to see all the details, cool to see the beginnings of Vince McMahon's takeover of professional wrestling, what people thought of it at the time. I really enjoyed the fact that we got to hear parts of a letter that Cowboy Bill Watts wrote to Ole Anderson about Vince McMahon and his takeover of wrestling and how it's going to change the business. I know the story of this. I learned a few more details about it, but it was cool to get those details, and it was cool to kind of hear from different sides, especially Ole's son. I thought was real interesting because you don't often get Ole's side. You don't often hear a sympathetic take from anybody in wrestling for Ole Anderson. Nobody in pro wrestling seems to be in Ole's corner when you talk about Ole or any of this kind of stuff. So to hear his son, who obviously loves him, it's his father, and clearly like he did love him and does love him and respects him and wants his memory honored and is telling his side of the story, which I think is really important because no one, and I say no one, seems to tell the story from the side or the perspective of Ole Anderson, and no one wants to really give him any love. And generally, from everything I've heard from all the people who knew him, wasn't very well liked and rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and had a lot of beefs in pro wrestling. So to hear from somebody who loved Ole, I thought was a really refreshing perspective, because clearly he's his son, and Ole was obviously a good enough father to have his son speak so well about him after he's passed away. So I think that was a cool part of the show for me. That was the coolest part of the show for me, because I've heard people talk shit about Ole, but I haven't really heard a lot of people speak nicely about Ole Anderson. So it was good to get his side of the story out there, because we all know, the truth is a whole lot of different things to a whole lot of different people. So I liked hearing that, because I remember when Ole passed, it was kind of like, Ole was not very well liked in wrestling.
I mean, there's very little details I know about this whole story, but one thing I do know is that Ole Anderson is notoriously one of the worst bookers.
Yeah. Bad booker, bad payoffs, people hated him, mean guy.
No ideas.
Racism as well. Accusation. I mean, there was a lot with Ole Anderson where people went, this guy's a bad guy. But his son obviously loved him. And, it was good to get that perspective on the whole thing. It was an enjoyable episode, one of the better episodes of the season. I always love to hear stories about Vince McMahon, too.
Young Vince, the rise of Vince.
The rise
origins.
of Vince. Yeah, I like the Vince origin stories. Those are fun. Where people are kind of like, when Vince and Jim Barnett walk into the NWA meeting and they announce, like, we're resigning from the NWA, we're quitting, and everybody in the room goes, the fuck is this kid planning? Like, what is going on here? Like, that was a move. Jim Barnett gets kind of ousted out of the Georgia Championship Wrestling, and Vince is like, come work for me, pal. You can help me build the empire. And he did, and it was, like, massive. Like, Georgia Championship Wrestling, by getting rid of Jim Barnett, they screwed themselves and the whole wrestling business, because Jim Barnett knew all the people and opened the doors. He had the keys to open the doors, and he gave all the keys to Vince. He said, here, Vince, you want to hire me? You want to give me this money? You want to do this, this, and this? I'm with you. You're paying me. Here are the keys to the castle. And Vince took them and then expanded and just made a global empire. But if not for Jim Barnett and those early connections, a lot of that wouldn't happen. So Georgia Championship Wrestling screwed themselves by getting rid of that guy. Yeah. Big time. They strong-armed him, and it wasn't right, and Vince took care of him, and he benefited, as he always did.
Yeah, it seemed like greed in the end. That's really was a downfall for a lot of them, sadly. But that happens a lot in wrestling. What I enjoyed the most about this, I think, was that you just had a... Yeah.
I don't think so, greed. John. I think you're wrong.
You don't think it was greed?
No. I think it was an inevitability with cable television that one of these wrestling promoters was going to get on cable TV and expand and start picking up stars from other markets.
Yeah, it was inevitable.
It was inevitable. And even Meltzer even said it. He's like, if Vince didn't do it, like this guy was going to do it, or
Jim
that guy
Crockett
was going to do it. Would they have done it as well as Vince? Would it have gone as big as Vince? Maybe, maybe not. There's no way of knowing, but Vince just did it first.
Turner was about to get in.
That's it. Like, Turner got in pretty quick after. Like, Vince saw the writing on the wall. He was a little bit younger than the other promoters, and he saw the new technology, and he jumped on it. It's not like the other guys wouldn't have figured it out. I don't think it was greed. I think just Vince realized, like, oh, well, we don't have local TV anymore. You got cable TV, and that can go everywhere, so... if I can get my wrestling on this, I could sell tickets everywhere, and then I'd have the biggest company. We go national. I mean, it just made sense. It was the logical next step for pro wrestling, and Vince was just the first guy to take the steps.
Yeah. Ruthless aggression.
Come on.
He had more ambition. There's no question about that. He probably saw things like in a different light than a lot of them did. They were kind of maybe behind the times, and Vince was actually ahead of the times.
Maybe you guys can answer this question, because like I always think back to that Paul Heyman promo he cut on Vince like right before I think it was Survivor Series 2001, where he talked about like, you stole all my ideas, Vince, and you like, and like he said at one point, he says like, your father shook the hands of every promoter and said, my son will never compete with you.
Yeah.
And then when Vince Sr. died, Vince just like threw all. Is that true? Like, did Vince Sr. kind of, or was it? I
think so.
Or just because, or was it just a general sense like, I'm New York, I'm not I'm going to keep my pie.
Yeah, I don't know. Vince did not tell his father what his plan was.
Yeah.
And even when they suspected it, I'm sure he was like, no, he'd never do that. And because I don't think he would have sold the company to Vince if he would have known the plans.
Yeah.
He sold the company to Vince thinking he would continue to run it as is.
As New York and Pennsylvania. And
Vince Jr. had other ideas.
that's right, pal.
It was smart. It worked. It worked. I don't blame him for that. I blame him for all the other shit that he did like later on. Yeah. But that back then made a lot of sense to me. The territory system was an antiquated system. It was run like a mafia. It was, an antitrust lawsuit was just around the corner for that thing. Like the way the NWA worked was not right. The way it operated was not right. They blackballed people. They kept people out of the business. They kept promoters out of the business. It was an old boys club. And the territory system, as much as people like to romanticize it because the people that know about it and grew up in it, that was the wrestling they loved, so they figured it was the best. But quite frankly, if you look at the way the territory system worked,
quite frankly,
it's
very frank.
I'm going to tell you that the territory system was actually bad for professional wrestling, and it was an illegal operation, and I, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, democratized professional wrestling and made it the American triumph that it is today. I took it out of the hands of organized crime and the mafia. They put a hit out on my life. That's the type of people we were dealing with, pal. And I made it classic American values. And then I did bad things to women, but don't talk about that. But damn it, pal, the NWA was bad for business. And they were bad for America. They were gangsters, pal. And they were.
Yeah.
They were. So don't romanticize the territory business. They wanted to kill Vince McMahon. Come on now. It was illegal. What they did was illegal.
Did we need the thing at the end where it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, Vince is like out now, like
yes,
it's over for him. Like,
yes.
Did that have to be added at the end?
You need to know the story of Vince because in 5 to 10 years, people might tune into this show being like, who's this guy? What is this? Some people don't know. And if you don't include that part, like that's part of the story now. Any story you tell about Vince, you have to see.
He's the poop guy.
You have to see it through. You have to show the end. You have to show where it is now. Show the end. Oh, he ran WWE. He started WWE. Oh, how did it all end for Vince in WWE? Does he still run the show now? Oh, no, he doesn't? Oh, okay. Why not? Oh, I see. Dear God. Oh, dear God. They've lost their reservation.
Oh, they definitely could just do a whole episode on Vince one day.
Yes.
I mean, you could do a whole... Isn't Bill Simmons doing like a documentary?
On Netflix, apparently.
But I think he's had to like change the ending a few times.
No shit. Well, yeah, because the old version had no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was... I think it was a more fawning look. At,
yeah.
The visionary, the man.
I think it was like WWE halfway produced, and now they're like
$7 and whatever.
Yeah, we got to tell a better story now, pal. I think they have to shelve it. Honestly, I don't think it's ever going to come out.
And like, there was going to be a Hulk Hogan movie with like Vince as a major character. You know, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, what happened to that?
He gained
Hogan
a lot
movie?
of weight and stuff to play Hogan.
Are they doing that?
I don't know. I guess. Maybe they shot it, and now they're like, we don't know what to do with this because Vince is just like there as a guy. He's not like,
I want to see a Hogan movie, brother.
Well, some of the Rock's movies take like 2-3 years to come out, so maybe it's just taking a while.
Yeah. I hope they haven't put that on the shelf because I want to see that one, brother. Johnny North, everybody wants to see you in the ring. I know my man AJ and Muscles Marco went to see you last weekend. You came up on the losing end of the match, from what I understand, but I heard the show was fantastic, and your match was the best once again. Good match last weekend, John, and you got another one coming up.
It was a good match. I technically didn't lose. Like, it was last man standing match. I wasn't the one who got put down for the 10 count, but it was a handicap last man standing, so unfortunately my team didn't win, so that didn't work out. But quite an excellent show. One of the best, like, just produced shows I think I've ever been a part of. Like just really well run, just well put together, just organized, and just it came out so well, everything, like from start to finish. And for so many people, like with the lack of experience they had in terms of wrestling, and just to put a show like that together, great show. I'm it's just awesome for AJ and Marco to come for that, because that was a special night, without question.
There you go. Well, I'm happy for you, John. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but these days
it was tough. I know it's
I
raining.
can't make anything.
Don't worry.
I got nothing. I got no time for anything. It's difficult.
Well, there'll always be other ones.
And I have to cancel things when, this other thing. Anyways, I don't think we have a show next week, John. To be fair, to be fully transparent with you, I don't think we're on next week. I think I'm going to a jiu-jitsu thing next week.
Well, I mean, you're a busy man.
It's another quintet. We go to the quintet shows. I rarely get a night out, and when I do get a night out, it's to go to a jiu-jitsu event. And I do believe it's next. Is it all right? Yeah, it's next Friday. So I'm going to be at that next weekend, John.
Week off? That's all right.
Yeah, rare week off for the Wrestling Uncensored crew, because I'm going to the quintet, the Montreal Quintet, going to see Team 10th Planet and all the other jiu-jitsu teams do jiu-jitsu in a big jiu-jitsu show, going with Freddie and AJ to that next Friday night. So Wrestling Uncensored will not happen.
Thanks.
Unless something crazy happens, in which case we'll give you a bonus here or there. But no Wrestling Uncensored next Friday, because I'm going to the quintet.
Only if it was tonight, I would have gone to see Ice Cube, but oh well.
Yay! Cube is in Montreal. I saw Cube? That, but I was like, I'm not the biggest Ice Cube fan. I like him, but I'm not.
I'm amazed that he still performs at his age. Like, wow.
It's nostalgia. He's like an actor now, mostly. I know more as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I like his songs. Some of his songs are good and everything, and I mean, I like him, and I'm sure he's doing some NWA stuff, and yeah. But I don't know. I'm not like a big Cube solo fan, so I'm good on going to see Ice Cube. I like him, but
I'm sure he had a good day.
You guys saw the Ric Flair,
the drunken
kicking
out of the bar? Yeah, I mean,
I put this place over, brother.
Are you surprised?
Giving it $1,000. I was like, is this Nature's still nature?
I'm not surprised. That's just who he is.
It's sad.
See it in the wild,
Is it sad?
Like he kind of talked down that guy who wanted to fight him.
Yeah,
badass.
That guy was like trying to fight him, and then he's like, "What did you say?"
And the guy was like,
"What did you say?" And then the guy shut his mouth, and Flair was like, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
I mean, trying to fight someone who's like 73, like come on, and
what's that guy trying to do?
Yeah, like it's just a sad situation overall. Like Flair shouldn't be in those situations. There should be someone like making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but Flair's completely out of control.
Yeah,
it's Ric Flair. What are you gonna do?
It's the only way he knows how to live. I think
it's like a wrestler got kicked out of a bar for being too drunk and belligerent. Oh, was it Ric Flair? Yes.
Yeah, but it's 2024, man. It's not like the early 2000s anymore. Like, and he's had so many health problems.
Oh, you think he's still not just drunken mess all the time? What are you talking about? Have you seen him talk?
I'm saying it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Oh my God! I've heard he needs alcohol to survive. Like if he doesn't drink the alcohol, he would die.
The withdrawal symptom, because you get physical withdrawal, like it might like break his body.
He's liquor man.
He needs to stay like
he
pruned,
is liquor man.
Pickled.
He is completely fueled by liquor.
He is the liquor.
He is the liquor.
He is.
More than Mr. Leahy.
Yeah, Nate is real life Leahy.
He is real life Leahy.
Time for a drinky poo.
Triple H is his Julian, too. So sexy.
I thought you were going to say Randy.
Batista? Yeah, I thought Batista.
No, it's Triple H. He loves Triple H. Randy. All right, shout out to Antoinette, who's been a member for 39 months. Shout out to Antoinette. Wow. Angelo Contagonis as well has been a member for 39 months. Harold Schneider says, my turn, thanks all. Also member, he's been a member for 35 months. So thank you to everybody sticking with us for so long over at join.ringsidereport.net. and over at membership.ringsidereport.net. So shout out to all the members I'm seeing tonight. Antoinette, Harold Schneider, Angelo Contagonis, Ray Cruz, Kyle Salisbury. So many members checking in tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Everybody watching. We appreciate you. And thank you for watching on all the platforms, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, anywhere you watch this show, Rumble. We appreciate you right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time.